Hello to all my friends in the Philippines. Oh yes, Dr. NeoCortex here. Let's stop that infurious Crash Bandicoot.
Thanks very much.
Even though it says Dr. NeoCortex?
Next lang is Dr. NeoCortex of Crash Bandicoot. That's video game. Wow, your character are all famous. But I just got this memorable character when I was a kid. So signing Kuwabara. Yo-Yo Hakusho, one of my favorite movie when I was a kid. That's Lex lang.
Okay, there's this. Defeated again. This is not fair. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, let's go next. You can't run away from your mistakes, but you can bury them. I never want to see your ridiculous face again.
Dr. NeoCortex of Crash Bandicoot.
Curses! Some sinister force is upstaging my evil plan. Curses! Curses! Curses!
I'm Batman.
The voice is deep, Batman.
For Dragon Ball Super, yeah. It's time to train. Come on, Vegeta.
You're the Goku, isn't it?
All right.
Okay.
1 second, please.
No worries.
Hi! Good to see you. I saw you posted something yesterday or
I posted
whatever.
something.
Were you here? Yeah.
I missed you guys. You went to the theatre.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I was thinking about that because I got posted this morning. Like, when is she's going to get here?
Yeah.
You're here all day?
Yeah, all day. Yeah, I'm going to help introduce you guys to the safest one of them.
Yeah.
And then let you guys do your thing. And then I do want to catch you for like the interviews and stuff.
Do you know where? Just New York. here before, right? Last time we did the it's quieter. Okay.
All right.
Are you okay? Yeah, keep moving. No time to waste. Right.
Your vacuous stupidity will be unstoppable.
Thank you, thank you.
Hello to all my friends in the Philippines. Oh yes, Dr. NeoCortex here. Let's stop that infurious Crash Bandicoot.
Thanks very much.
Hey, it's us.
Round one. Get ready.
And voice actor in English dub anime and video games. He is the voice of Takato Matsuki. Brian Bicap provide the voice of Agumon in the TV show Digimon Data Squad. In the TV show Dragon Ball Super, Brian Bicap provide the voice of Krillin.
You want me to sign this to you or just my
Signature plus the name of the character.
Yep.
And if you can put some short, like short message or
I can do pepper breath.
yeah. That's Brian Bicap, voice actor, famous voice actor.
Oh yeah, that miraculous ladybug. Yeah, that's the froggy, the tiger one. Oh yeah, she sees them for.
Pepper breath.
Thank you.
Awesome. We can get a photo.
Brian Bicap provide the voice of Yumi Chika Aya Shigawa in the TV show, movie, and video game Bleach. Brian Bicap is the English dub voice of Monokama.
I gave up doing theatre studies when I was about 15 years old, and it became more about the essays than about the actual acting. So if anyone's ever done GCSE theatre studies, congratulations, you've done as much theatre as I have. As for how I got started in voice acting, my brother used to work in a movie theatre back in Southampton, which is where I lived my whole life, and I wanted to make an audio drama based around his experiences working at that movie theatre. And that's how I started a little show called Zulaplex that ran for 3-4 years, 2 seasons. And I decided I wanted to be a voice actor in that show. So I ran out to Maplin's back when that was a thing, if anyone wants to feel old for about 5 seconds. I bought an off-brand karaoke microphone, I put it in a shoebox wrapped in bubble wrap, and that was not small bubble wrap, mind you. This was the big stuff that they used to package wine bottles in. So it was awful, it sounded awful, and that was the microphone that I used for the first 1.5 years of voice acting. My first actual role that I used to mark the beginning of my voice acting career was a Gmod video, appropriately enough considering where we are, called ScoutCon 2014. And that was just for a friend of mine, and that is how I date myself as having almost done voice acting for 9 years now. Ever since then, I've been in indie games, making connections, networking, a lot of networking, and working as a full-time game writer myself, that ties into it a lot. So I add equal value as a voice actor and a writer to some games. And that's how I sort of progressed.
Thank you for the question. And you can now hear the mic. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Cassie.
Cassie, what have you got to ask?
Who's your favourite character you got to voice?
Who's our favorite character we got to voice? Wow. it's kind of like picking your favorite child. You know, we've all been doing this for decades, and so I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I got to voice Han Solo in a bunch of different projects. I also got to voice Batman in several projects. Oh my God! Batman's here. So that's fun. And right now my favorite voice is Suguru Geto from Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm really enjoying playing that character a lot, so I'd have to say that's one of my favorites, yes?
Lex, do you ever wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and go, I'm Batman?
I'm Batman. Yes, I do that sometimes.
Like Lex says, it's hard to decide. I am so blessed because I get to voice so many cute, adorable characters, so it's really hard to choose. I love Sumomo and Chobits. I had so much fun voicing her, but I'd have to say Chibiusa is one of my favorite roles that I've ever been able to voice. Her journey is so powerful, and it's just so amazing, the journey that Chibi Moon is on. And anytime I get the call to voice Betty Boop, it is such an honor. I just did a Doc Martens commercial for Betty Boop, and they had some Betty Boop Doc Martens shoes, so that was exciting. But anytime I get the call for Betty Boop, it's just an honor. She's the queen of cartoons. So thank you.
All right, who's my favorite character? Who's my favorite character? Who here likes Octagawa? Who here likes Monokuma? Okay, that's my favorite.
I mean, if that's how the metric that we're doing. All right, so excluding characters from stuff I've actually created myself, because that's an unfair advantage right there. I would have to say that the favorite character that I've ever actually been hired to do is a character called Mihaya Sene from a anime-inspired animated series being made independently called 8-Sen. And that's kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! Driving inspired. I also absolutely love a couple of characters. Trax from Bulletville. It's like an Overwatchy sort of combat shooter. And one time I got to play Tails in Sonic for Hire. So yeah, I had one line and then I got shot in the face. Yeah. It happens, it happens. I'm pretty sure that was just a joke that the writers had. They just wrote it into the script that I would have one line get shot in the face, and I just went with it, and they're stuck with me now. That's my favorite character.
Great question, thank you. What's your name?
Violet.
Violet, what's your question?
Can you do the a body has been discovered, please?
A who?
A body has been discovered?
Oh. A body has been discovered!
Hi, what's your name? Jade. Jade, what's your question?
What is your favourite part of voice acting, as well as what's your favourite part of your fans?
As well as what?
Your fans.
Favourite part of voice acting and favourite part of having fans?
So, favorite part of voice acting, I do like the freedom. I like the fact that some days we can work for maybe 2 or 3 hours and that's the end of our day, right? It's nice to be able to be creative, so getting a job is nice. It's nice to do what we love, and it's a very unique, niche kind of career path that I'm really grateful just to be in. And I was talking to someone today, for actors that don't do conventions, we're missing out on a lot of the benefit of this job, which is the feedback from the fans and meeting people that these shows and these characters affect in a positive way. And so over the past 15, 20 years that I've been doing conventions, it's really shown me that our job is not just going to work, making money, going home, blah, blah, blah. And not always a lot of money. But it's really about how it affects a lot of people, and that this job and this career is important, and that comes from you guys and you guys only. So we appreciate that.
Oh, okay, great. I would say all of that, and I love being able to breathe life into these characters that you love and help to tell their stories. So it's just an honor to do that, and especially being at cons to meet all of you. You know, a lot of people don't know, but when we record anime, we're in a padded room with voices in our head. We're all by ourselves. except for the director in a booth far away. So it's really nice to be here and to be with all of you.
Yes, I think my favorite part about voice acting is just being able to act. You know, I'm an actor and we get to act. We're blessed to be able to audition. You know what's funny is, as a voice actor, we audition a lot more than we actually act, because for every 100 auditions, maybe we get 1 or 2 parts. So our entire month is a lot of auditioning. So that, I love acting and being able to bring life to these characters, but in terms of the fans, I really love connecting with the fans at these conventions, because, as Sandy said, we work alone most of the time, unless it's like a Western animation where we're in a room with the entire cast, like on Justice League or those kinds of shows. But for anime and for gaming, we're by ourselves in the booth when we record. So when we get to see fans of the shows we do, that's very rewarding. But even more so, when the fans express to us how the shows that we're on have made a difference in their life and gotten them through a difficult time or through an illness or something like that, that completely fills my heart 100%. So to know that it makes a difference, the performances we do and the shows that we're on, that is the most fulfilling thing that I have. Like, to actually connect with the fans and meet people at these shows is just so rewarding and so wonderful.
Well, look at that. So my favorite part of voice acting is all about the characters for me. Like Lex says, they are a bit like, you know, your children. I can remember so many of them. I can remember almost all of them. Sometimes when you're working in certain fields of voice acting, the jobs and the characters, they kind of come and go in 2 lines in 36 hours, in my experience sometimes. That's when you're working for mobile game localization. But I still remember all of them. They are so much fun. Especially because working in narrative and game writing, you feel the voice. And as for my favorite part of having fans, well, I don't have an answer to that yet because I'm still new to that part. I mean, I said that this is my first convention. So 9 years, and it took me, I don't know if that's a long time or a short time. I don't know if I'm fast or slow. I have 0 frame of reference. So you guys are teaching me so much while I'm here, and that so far is my favorite part, just being able to say that I am here, I am meeting you, and I think I need to get some better clothes.
I think you may have gained some fans today.
Yes!
Safe to say, Reese?
You're gonna make me cry.
Hi, what's your name?
Shay,
Shay, what's your question?
what's your guys' favorite Dragon Ball Z character?
What's our favorite Dragon Ball Z character? Well, I had the blessing to be playing the voice of Goku for Dragon Ball Super. So I'm kind of biased. I like Goku the best.
And I'm married to him, so I have to say Goku, or I'm in trouble.
And I was in a dub of Dragon Ball Super as well that I don't think anyone saw because it went to Australia and Asia, right? So I was Krillin in that, so Krillin is my favorite.
You're gonna hate me for this. I don't really know that much about Dragon Ball, so yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to say Vegeta. I want to say Vegeta just because I like his attitude. He's got a real attitude. I like it.
Well, since you don't know, Reese, then how about we teach you something today?
Teach me.
How about we get everyone to do their best Kamehameha on stage?
Oh. Yes! Do it!
Yeah, Lex can start. I know what it is.
This is how we blow our voices out. Kamehameha!
In the name of the moon, Kamehameha!
It's Kamehameha time!
Okay, my turn. 0 frame reference, like I say. Kamehameha!
Isabel. What's your question?
What is your favourite Gargoyle Monster character other than Monokuma?
What is my favorite character a Danganronpa character other than Monokuma, I think I have a real affinity to Junko for some reason. Don't you think? And Mondo, because I love butter.
Hi, what's your name? Brooke, what's your question?
When doing voice acting, has there ever been... It's okay, don't worry. It's alright, take your time. Has there ever been a character you voice acted that's impacted your life for the better or for the worse?
Great question. So when we voice act, has there ever been a character that has impacted our life for better or for worse? So, for worse, when I did Sakon and Ukon in Naruto, it would make my throat bleed and I couldn't do an audition for a week and a half. And those characters would never die. They kept coming back because it's Naruto. And as far as impacting my life for better, it definitely was just getting the role of Takato in Digimon Tamers because it literally changed my entire life for the past 30 years. So, and also because Digimon Tamers was so well written and so well acted and directed that it's a great show to be the first one that I ever did because a lot of people have an affinity to it and it's a very emotional, nice way to attach that to the beginning of my voiceover career.
So this kind of ties in a little bit into more industry side of things. So when you're a remote and especially international-based voice actor, there are some extra hurdles that come to finding work, especially in anime dubbing and video games. So I would say the character that has impacted my life the most has to be a character called Hunane in Genshin Impact, just because that's kind of a big hurdle that has been jumped for me. There's only 5 of us in the UK, based in the UK so far, that have actually recorded and come out for Genshin Impact. So it was a real achievement because it made me kind of feel like I can do this, I am able to do this, it's not impossible, I am going to do this.
I would say for me, the character that really impacted me is the arc when Chibiusa transforms into Black Lady and kind of goes into that depression and that dark night of the soul, and she's really doubting herself. And because she's listening to all these negative thoughts in her head. And I know like we can all experience that in our real life. And so how she came out of it was to recognize all the love around her. And so I think for me it's Sailor Moon because there's so many beautiful soul messages in that story. So I would have to say Sailor Moon.
I think as a voice actor, one that impacted me for the worst is there's a video game called Evolved, where I played this character named Torvald, who's a big giant guy. And when I got to the session, they said, you have 2,300 lines today. And I said, okay. And they said, 1,600 of those are shouted over gunfire. So I had to scream 1,600 lines, and at the end of that, my throat was so bad, I said, okay, I'll see you guys later. I literally couldn't even talk. And as far as roles that have impacted me for the better, you know, I play a lot of villains, oddly enough, and what I realized about villains is most of them have a good heart, but what they have is also some kind of trauma that affected them in some way. And their imperfections is what leads them to making the wrong choices and becoming villainous. So I was able to see that not being perfect is okay, you know, and so that really inspired me in a way to understand myself better, so yeah.
Hello, what's your name?
Emily, come in a bit closer. What's your question? What's your favorite anime?
What's your favorite anime?
Favorite anime? Oh wow. Unfortunately, no. I would say my favorite anime, I have a real soft spot in my heart for Death Note. It was the first one that I really got into. Yeah! Yeah, there you know, yeah. But favorite of all time, Soul Eater. Yeah, that one was really developmental for me growing up. That was like the anime that I knew. I've not been in the anime club forever, so that was like the one that kind of really got me into it.
So I actually don't watch a lot of anime, although it's all in my queue, right? So there's a lot I want to watch. But I will say that I hadn't watched Bungo Stray Dogs since it first came out, and during COVID, I watched it again, and I just thought it was really perfect. I thought the show it's just an amazing show if you haven't watched it. So that one I'm really attached to right now. But I'm always open to suggestions. Come by my table and tell me what you love and what you're watching, because it is kind of an alien art form to me. I don't watch a lot of it.
Oh, that's such a hard one. I don't get the opportunity to watch as much as I would like as well. But after recording Sailor Moon for 5 years, I have to say Sailor Moon. Yeah.
I like Naruto a lot. I think that's a great show. I also, since I was cast in Jujutsu Kaisen, I've really grown to love that, especially the movie. I thought the movie was so great, the way they combined the shonen and the horror and all the music that was involved and the art styles. And that's the one manga that I'm up to date with. So I have a feeling Jujutsu Kaisen is going to blow the roof off of anime this next coming year, especially with season 2 coming. For those of you who follow the show, any Jujutsu Kaisen fans out there? Yes, awesome. So yeah, that's got to be my favorite right now.
Thank you for the question. Hi, let us know your name and the question.
My name's Robert, and apologies guys, but this is more for Lex. In all of your times you've voiced Cortex in Crash Bandicoot, what's some of your most favourite lines that you've ever had to utter?
Wow, what are some of my favorite Cortex lines? It's funny you ask. Because I was wondering that myself recently, and I wrote down a couple of them because I had a feeling I might be asked that. So one of them is, with my mighty intellect and your vacuous stupidity, we'll be unstoppable. That was one. And then also, when I'm king of the world, you are so in trouble.
Thank you.
The question was, in the Crash Bandicoot game, what were some of my favorite lines?
Hiya, my name is Maya. My question is, if you weren't voice acting, what do you think you'd be doing as a career?
If we weren't in voice acting, would we have another career? I might be a professional poker player. I really love playing poker, but more than likely I would just be an actor on stage is what I would guess.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of shows since I was here, and I really miss theater, so I'd love to do some live performing again. But I also wrote a children's book this year called A Chakra Star Journey, so I'm getting ready to publish that. So I would love to live in a little cottage and write children's books.
I like producing and directing as well, so I think I might do something like that. But as I get older, I think it'd be really fun to be a travel writer and just travel around the world and write and drink coffee.
I could get on the professional coffee drinker wagon, I would try that. I do have a bit of a cheat, because if I wasn't voice acting, I would go full-time into game writing and doing full-time freelance and writing my own games more and more. I do write my own games currently, but I would throw myself into that full-time, I think.
Thank you for your question. Hi, what's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. Shoot your question.
My question is about Miraculous Ladybug. I would like to know, who are your 2 favorite characters and why?
Our favorite characters? Well, again, I'm biased because my wife is Roar, one of the Kwami, and I play Jagged Stone, so those are kind of my 2 favorite, but Cat Noir, you know, that's one of my favorites, I think, totally. And of course, who doesn't love Ladybug?
Yeah, it's real. I love Tiki, because she's, you know, head Kwami, so I have to love Tiki. Melody voices her. But yeah, and Miraculous Ladybug is a wonderful show, and it's just so much fun to record that show. Because especially I love that it's French, so it is a little different as we record it than we do traditional, like, you know, dubbing for Japan. So that's exciting. And I happen to love Paris, So I just love seeing all in Paris as I'm in my recording session. But yeah, it's all over such a great show. Good question.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Kyra.
And what's your question?
So if you could voice act anyone, who would you voice act?
If we could voice act anyone, any character, who would we voice act? Well, for me, I've always thought it would be great to be Superman in a long-running animated series.
I think for me, it would have to be Minnie Mouse. I love you. Bye-bye.
I've gotten this question before, and the actual answer doesn't really exist, but I would love to be in a animated musical version of Sweeney Todd. And I'd like to be either Tobias or Sweeney Todd.
Bit of a strong reaction there from me. Sorry, that's a big one for me. I love that show. Has anyone here heard of a manga anime series? It's not been dubbed yet, called Isekai Nobu? Nope, not surprised. Oh, one person? Okay, yeah. There's a character in that show called Hans. It is one of my favorite lesser-known anime series. It has a very special place in my heart. And if they ever did a dub, I would love to voice Hans in Isekai Nobu.
Thank you for the question.
Get a bit closer.
Hey, what's your name and your question?
Yusaku. My question was Sandy. What is your favorite line when you voice Chibi-Yusa?
My favorite line, some of my favorite lines are just bantering with Usagi. My cookies are way better. Mama Ru loves my cookies. Like, I love that her banter with Usagi, even though it's like they're not conscious that they're mother and daughter, they banter back and forth, like kind of like sisters. I love all of those lines, but it would have to be Moon Gorgeous Meditation. That's one of my favorite, like, evolved transformations. Moon Gorgeous Meditation.
Thanks for the question. Hey, what's your name?
I'm Hassan. Firstly, thank you for talking about your experience. It's very valuable to hear about it. I'm interested in what you think about the situation regarding pay for voice actors. More prominently, Kyle McCarley was recast as the lead actor in Motorcycle 100 because he proposed the use of SAG-AFTRA contracts. I'm wondering if you think that that's a norm for the industry, and would you like to see that change?
Yeah, the question was, some of the actors, some of the anime is non-union work and some anime is union work. And one of the actors was recast, I believe, because he wanted one of the shows to be a union show, and the production company didn't make it a union show. And how do we feel about that whole thing? Well, over the years, over the decades that anime has been happening, most of the shows have been non-union shows, and just recently, through a coalition of actors that are standing to get other shows, all the shows, brought into the union status, more shows have been becoming union shows. And so I think I speak for all of us saying that we would love for all of the anime producers to make all the shows union, but we know that just like as voice actors, when we do a promo for a TV show or a movie trailer, that those are also non-union jobs, essentially. And so right now we just kind of have to go with the flow. We all stand for the idea that they become union shows, but it was unfortunate that Kyle was recast because of that.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. Maybe in the United States, we do not have universal health care. And so we don't have universal health care, we don't have like a universal pension or any kind of care. So we have to pay for that. So Kyle took a stand for all of us that, for cents on the dollar, just a few extra dollars from our session fee, we would be able to go towards our health care and our pension. And I felt that was very courageous of him because he was a very beloved character. He loved voicing his character in that show. But we do have to, if, you know, there's inflation and there's all these things, but our jobs don't increase. And so the coalition that Lex was speaking about in the United States is called the Coalition of Dubbing Actors. And it's really like, you know, when anime first started and we were dubbing, we were treated like background actors. Like we weren't giving any credence or, you know, value to what we do. And it is a very technical job. But I really commend Kyle and everybody who stands for, you know, raising that bar just a little bit so we can all take care of ourselves and our families. So, yeah.
Yes, same. Just all over the United States, Texas pays a different rate than Los Angeles. So you can have the same job that would be $30 an hour, or it could be $250 an hour. So there's a lot of people trying to fight to become unified, and it's obviously a dangerous and tricky tightrope to walk. But we're all trying to raise the rate and to show the value for what we do.
Okay, so completely different perspective on this, not disagreeing at all. Being from the UK, there are different hurdles, like I say. One thing that happened very recently was the debate when Funimation and Crunchyroll merged together. And actually on Twitter, because of course it happened on Twitter, there was a big argument, yes, Twitter, between union actors based in LA and international talent. I didn't find myself disagreeing with either party. It's a matter of both sides are right. We had, with the advent of COVID, international voice talent finally got more of a shot than they did in the past because, you know, everyone was going into home studios, everyone was upgrading their home studios, and speaking for myself, I had a home studio before this that I was just upgrading. And we felt like unionizing dubs might, mind you, depending on who you ask, it makes it easier or harder for international talent to be considered for anime or for any project at all. I mean, some people won't even bother to fill out a different tax form when they hire us. That's how different it is. So filling out a Taft-Hartley or any of the other sorts of union exception forms, because I can't join SAG-AFTRA because I don't have a social security number. I know there are some exceptions, but international talent by and large can't join SAG-AFTRA. I will say that I don't believe both sides are wrong. I do support unionization. I do support unionization fully. I want to say that unionization needs to be inclusive and not exclusive on any front. So it's about knowledge and understanding.
Thank you, that was a really eye-opening question. Hi, what's your name and your question?
My name's Kian and my question is, what was all your least favourite lines you've said, voiced?
Least favourite.
Least favourite.
What are our least favorite lines we've said? I don't think I have a least favorite line.
I'm dying. That's my least favorite line. Anytime I'm saying I'm dying as a character, that's a bad line.
I'd have to say that too in a game when I have to die, like 100 ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably not my least favorite line, but the least favorite thing I've heard in the booth is, and that's the end of your character, Brian, said by the engineer in the booth. That's the end of that guy. He just had a rocket shoot into his face and he's dead.
I don't have any specific lines, but I don't like voicing real-world bad guys. I love voicing villains. I don't like voicing buttholes. Let's put it that way. So if there's someone who is, you know, sexist or racist or anything like that, that's something where I will give it my best performance, but then I'll go out of the booth and I'll be sort of like, I'm sorry!
You know, I took a picture. I was doing a game recently, and I just mentioned dying, you know, and my character had to do this. Dying by your neck being snapped, a quick death effort, dying by being crushed, dying by being burned, dying by being dissolved by acid, dying by electrocution, dying by an explosion, dying by smoke inhalation, dying by a short fall, dying by a long fall, dying by being crushed by rocks, dying by being hit by a car, dying by falling down an elevator shaft. So I was like, a million ways to die, we really do.
What was your least favourite? Dissolving by acid, guys. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Alex.
And what's your question?
My question is, what is your favourite video game and why?
I have an Oculus. Anybody have an Oculus here? Any Oculus? Yes. So oddly enough, I play this thing called Walkabout Mini Golf, and I meet with all kinds of friends from around the world, and we play mini golf together, and it is the most fun that you could ever have. It's super fun. And my other friend likes the zombie games, so we have this thing called Dual Strike Zombie Edition, which is also a lot of fun to play together. Besides that, I love Star Wars games.
My favorite, I actually voice Vern in Grand Blue Fantasy, and we have so much fun coming in games. You guys are gonna love it.
So because I'm old, I have this really cool gaming system at home. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Atari. And so my favorite game is called Pitfall. Right? Old school. But of course, Danganronpa.
Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt, yes.
I love the, alright, I was going to make a joke, but I lost it. Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2, anyone? Handsome Jack, Claptrap. Yeah, that game formed my career in so many ways. It inspired my writing style, got me into game writing, and thanks to my love of Claptrap, that's like 6 roles that I've booked right there, just based on how much of a funny robot I can do.
Thank you, guys. What's your name and your question?
Adam.
Hello, Adam.
So, it's the 15th anniversary of the Digimon Daily Squad episode, The Clash with Marokibon. And since you are also Rise Greymon along with Agumon, can you say Rising Destroyer to celebrate?
Rise and Destroy?
Rising Destroyer.
That's Rise Greymon.
Rising Destroyer!
And now my voice is gone. Thanks, boss.
Thank you. Hi, what's your name and your question?
My name is, oh sorry, clap. My name's Yana, and my question is, you guys are in a zombie apocalypse, and you have to pick one of the characters that you voice to help you survive it, and who is it?
We're in a zombie apocalypse, and we have to pick a character that we voice to help us survive it. There's no question. Again, I hate to go back to Jujutsu Kaisen, but Suguru Geto, Maximum Uzumaki takes out all of those zombies.
I would have to say it would be Pishi and Yellowheart, because I could always pull out Yellowheart, and yeah, just get rid of all the zombies.
Gosh, that's a great question. I like to say that Octagawa's Rashomon might help, but I kind of think it might be more fun to see how Monokuma deals with zombies, right? Who loves a delicious buttered zombie?
Me. I would say my character Trax in Bulletville. I know no one's probably ever heard of it. He has cannons for arms. I think I'm fucking safe. Sorry.
That was a great question, thank you. What's your name and your question?
My name is Kenise, and I have a question for Lex. Is it okay if you can say a ghetto line?
Ghetto line?
Yeah.
I hate monkeys.
Thank you. Shay.
Shay again, hello. What's your question?
How long have you been voice acting for Miraculous Ladybug?
Well, I only came in season 4. So, yeah, so season 4, I think they're showing season 5 now. So, yeah, season 4. That's when my Kwame roar came in.
I've been since the very beginning. Yeah. 5 seasons, baby.
What's your name?
Brad.
Brad, what's your question?
So I think it was mentioned earlier that most of your time spent auditioning and you might only get a couple of characters. So my question is, what was maybe one particular character that you wanted to get in an audition, but you might have been passed on for someone else?
So it was a long time ago, but Sonic the Hedgehog had a new animated series that started, and I went in probably about 8 times for Tails. And I didn't necessarily love the show. I hadn't seen it. I'm not familiar with the whole franchise, but I will tell you that the pay rate for this particular anime, which, you know, like I said, it could be $30. It was a lot of money. It would have been life-changing. You know what I mean? New car, new apartment, whatever. So I was already counting the money that I didn't have, right? You know, after 8 auditions, but someone else got it. So I always think of that job as the one that got away.
Okay, so again, this is a small boy story. Back when I was first starting out, I want to say about 1.5 years into my career, I was on a website called Behind the Voice Actors, and that's a site that hosts a lot of casting calls for indie games and stuff. There was one character in a game whose name I cannot remember, but the character, his name was Rick. He was adorable. I loved it. I gave it my all in that audition, and Behind the Voice Actors has an upvoting system where people can listen to your auditions and they can upvote it. Even though I had the worst microphone of my career at the time, I had about 7 or 8 upvotes, which made it the highest voted audition of the lot. It was the first paid project I'd ever auditioned for, and it blew my mind. I could get $50 for this. $50, that's what it took. Yeah, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it, and to this day, that sort of it was revolutionary. A, learned I could get paid. B, I learned it's not a popularity contest. By no means is it a popularity contest.
When I first moved to Los Angeles in the early 90s and auditioning, I got an audition for Dot from Animaniacs. I got an audition for Angelica Pickles and Rugrats. So I remember, I just got an audition for this show Rugrats, and then it became huge, so.
I can't remember anyone in particular, but the way I approach auditions is once I give it my all, I have to turn the page because we have so many. If we stay attached to what we could have had, it kind of limits us in the future. So I've probably had a lot of good ones, but I can't remember any of them offhand.
Thank you for the question. Hey, what's your name? Liliana, what's your question?
I just want to say you guys are amazing, and my question is do you have a favorite line, from any part, from any voice acting you did, any?
You have a favorite line from anything we've ever done? For me, when I was playing Batman on Batman Brave and the Bold, there was a scene where I was in a story arc called Knights of Tomorrow. I don't know if anyone's watched the show at all, but it's when when Batman gives his cape and cowl to Robin, and then I played Robin being Batman, and he fights Joker and Joker's grandson. And there was a part where Joker says, it would take an army, and my character comes in and says, well, that army is me. And Joker says, well, who are you? And I got to say, I'm Batman. But the funny part of that story is, when I was practicing, I got the script the Friday before, and so I was walking around the house going, I'm Batman, I'm Batman. I was doing this really low, deep voice, I'm Batman. And when I got to the session, we were rehearsing, we do one read-through first, and when we did the read-through, I got to that line, and I said, I'm Batman, really low. And the director said, well, remember, in this case, it's Robin who's Batman, so you got to pitch your voice up higher. So I was like, I'm Batman. No, higher up. And I was like, I'm Batman. And they go, no, higher up, it's Robin, remember? And I'm like, I'm Batman? And so the funny part was, that was the funny part, but the reason why it's my favorite line that I've ever done is because when it was recording, we were doing the actual script, when I got to that line and I said, I'm Batman, they stopped the recording, and all of the producers and the directors and the writers in the booth stood up and applauded and said, Lex, you are one of the 8 people in the entire world that sat in this Warner Brothers studios and uttered the words, I'm Batman. And so I was literally crying sitting there because I was so moved to be one of such a lucky small group of people. So that will always be my favorite line that I've ever said as a voice actor.
Very much the same in that way that when I get to record Betty Boop, just her classic boopy doopy doopy doop, boop boop ba doop boop. So I just feel so blessed of the women that came before me and the legacy of Betty Boop, and that I get to continue that legacy.
So in Danganronpa, Monosuke says something about the Patriots that I can't repeat here, so that's a great line. So I don't know the lines exactly, but for those that remember, I will say Takato's last monologue when he's saying goodbye to Guilmon in Digimon Tamers is a very emotional time. We were all crying in the booth, so that was kind of awesome. That was awesome.
In a game that I'm making with my partner right now called Snagamon, a grunt dating sim, one of my characters, Garrett, he doesn't play fair. He does not play fair at all. And at one point the player character accuses him of cheating, and my favorite quote of all time to whoever voiced is, "Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying."
Thank you for that question. Hello, what's your name?
No, Jam.
Jem, what's your question?
Do you have any tips for starting voice actors who want to get into the business? Like any personal tips?
If you've ever asked this question before, you might have heard this answer already, but there's a voice actor named D. Bradley Baker, who's a wonderful voice actor. He's been in a zillion things. And often when we go to these conventions, people say, how do I break into the voice acting business? Like, are there any tips for, aspiring voice actors? And so he created a website, and if you're an aspiring voice actor out there, it's called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. And if you can't remember that name, then you don't want to be a voice actor. But yeah, I'd say go to that site, iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, and it will give you all the information you could ever want. What to practice, how to make your demo tapes. Like everything you need to know about voice acting is on that website. And I think I probably speak for all of us with that. It's one of the best sites. And also, you should love acting. Because it's not just have a funny voice. Like get into your acting class in your school, in your high school, in your college, wherever you're at. Get into your acting classes and just act. You can make YouTube videos with your friends. We didn't have that luxury when we were growing up. We had a little cassette recorder, and we were like stopping and starting a cassette recorder to make little plays and things. So make YouTube videos, do stuff on Twitch. Like use what you have and just keep acting. And if you love it and you pursue it, you'll make it. We'll be in the studio together one day if it's something you really love.
I would just add on to that, if you get the opportunity to study improv. Improv, I think, is something they should teach in every school. It gives you the courage and the fearlessness to step into that yes, and to just fearlessly step into your craft and create characters on the spot. And a lot of what we do in voiceover is cold reading. They'll show you 2 or 3 characters that you're coming into the studio for. You've never seen their picture before. You've never read their lines before. So you can't hesitate. You just have to create something on the spot.
And on top of that, singing classes, because voiceover is musical and it strengthens your instrument. So yeah, improv, acting, singing, it's easy.
So from my perspective as someone who hires voice actors and works exclusively with remote-based voice actors with home studios, I can say, who here owns a microphone and has tried to get into voice acting? Anyone? Yep. Okay, so how many of you are using USB microphones? If you're using a USB microphone, there's no shame in that. It's where, no matter where you start, it's where you take it. Don't focus on getting the best microphone right away. Your space is what matters. Your soundproofing, your bass traps, your insulation. I have a rule of thumb, I'm very quotable on this. It's a good microphone makes a bad studio sound more obvious, but a good studio makes a bad microphone sound better.
Love that. That's really good.
Say your name and your question.
My name is Lene, and my question for Sandy is, can you say your favorite Hello Kitty line?
Oh, my favorite Hello Kitty. Friends forever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Say your name and what's your question?
My name is Summer, and
This is a question for Monokuma's voice actor. Did you voice all of Monokuma's lines?
I did voice, yes, I did voice all the games. A lot of people say Monokuma's voice is higher in the third game. It's the way the voices got laid in the game. Monokuma has several voices, some higher voices, some slightly lower voices. But the way they ended up in the game, all the high voices were kind of front-loaded in the game. So at first it sounded like someone else doing the voice. But no, I wasn't inhaling helium or wearing tight pants. Yes, that's still me. Thank you. Last question.
Say your name and your question. Well, hello there. My name is Spicy, and I've got a question for you, Yumi Chica. You're into beautiful things.
Yeah.
Do you think Kenpachi is beautiful?
No one is beautiful when they're in my presence. That's why I would have killed them with my Fujikujaku.
So
you, however, have beautiful hair.
Oh, I thank you. You're not wrong, man.
Lovely. Any other last questions for anyone? Is that it?
Selfie thing. Yeah, so what we're going to do with you guys, first of all, I need to know, did you guys have fun today? Yes! And the next thing we're going to do is a selfie together. So we're going to face that way, and if you guys want to stand up or just like be there, and we're going to do a quick selfie together, okay? I'm going to get on this side, because you have to be on the inside. Okay, here's a selfie first, right? 1, 2, 3, selfie. And now we're going to do a video again, okay? So tell me, did you guys have a good time? Yes! All right, we love you so much. You know, we're right out those doors all the rest of the day today. We're at our tables, and we'd love to say hi to you. If you want to come over and talk about whatever, we're happy to do it, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We're so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Very, very exciting. Thank you very much, everybody. That was amazing.